Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Grid Engine Podcast, Casting Out. Because it's the cast outs now.
I guess.
Yeah.
Something like that.
I don't know. We're clever like that. We're clever boys.
Yeah.
Snow White and the 7 clever boys looking ass, you know? So, here's what's going to happen. Ready? Today, we're going to talk a little bit about your first apartment.
Yeah, my first apartment when I first moved out.
Yeah. And then... Bummer. And then if we
Bummer.
If we move on from there and we're like, that's enough about that, we can talk about my first apartment, because I think the next time we do this, we'll talk about our first apartment.
Yes.
So, start us off, man. Tell us a little bit about the area that it was in and why you were there and the situation.
Okay, so I just wanted to, when I was one of those types of people who just wanted to move out as soon as I turned 18. I was like, I'm 18, trying to fucking get my own place, trying to live on my own, trying to do this epic shit. But
of course, brother.
I also couldn't afford to get a place on my own. So me and my
I met this girl and I was like, you want to move in together?
Me and my girlfriend at the time, we found this place, and it was actually really good price.
That girl is now your wife, by the way.
Yes, girlfriend at the time, now currently wife. I did not have a lot of girlfriends in my past, so if I say girlfriend at the time, 9 times out of 10, I'm talking about my wife.
Fair enough.
So we find this place, and it was actually really well priced. It was a 2-bedroom, 1-bath for only $750 a month. So it was really good price.
That's not bad.
So we moved in. It was really nice and everything, and then we
I helped you move in, right?
Yeah, you did. And then we quickly found out why it was priced so well. So we move in and we're chilling, and we moved in, I'm pretty sure, like in the summertime.
Yeah, it was hot.
Yeah. And we found out that was a fucking problem because it didn't have central heating and AC. It had a wall AC unit
in the living room, which was at the front of the apartment, and the bedrooms behind it ain't get shit.
No, yeah, none of the bedrooms or the bathroom or anything got any cold air except for the living room. So it got to the point where our bedroom was like a fucking sauna.
Nice.
And we had
because you had the farthest back bedroom, right?
Yes, yeah, that was the master bedroom. So it was like a fucking sauna, and we were just actually fucking sweating our asses off and dying while we were trying to fucking sleep.
That's fun. I love that for you.
So our couch, though, was a hide-a-bed. So for like most of the summer, we were actually sleeping in the living room on the hide-a-bed couch. Oh, nice.
That's pretty good, man.
We were sleeping on the hide-a-bed couch with the AC on full blast. That's right next to our fucking faces.
Because the walls and windows weren't doing shit, right?
Yeah, they were fucking terrible. And then, along with that, at least once a week, I would see, like, cop car lights flashing through my fucking windows, and I'm just like, oh, wow, this is great. I love living here. Right. I feel like I can't go outside at night. It didn't stop me. I fucking went out all the fucking time.
Right.
But it was just really funny because I was like, oh, dude, this is fucking nice-ass place. It's got a good price. I'm fucking moving in. Hell yeah. And then I get there and I'm just like, this fucking sucks. Help me.
Right. Yeah.
And then we had the opposite problem in the winter. Because the heating was those like
baseboard, right?
I don't know what the fuck they're called. Maybe it is
the shit that runs along the edge of the wall at the bottom on the floor. That's baseboard.
The fucking coils and shit, and those coils heat up.
That shit's like dangerous if you have curtains.
It's dangerous if you have curtains, and also if too much dust collect in them. You're supposed to get those things.
It can light dust on fire.
Yes,
nice.
You're actually supposed to get those things like professionally cleaned routinely, so they don't just light fire.
I'm assuming the apartment complex didn't provide cleaning.
No, they did not. Of
course,
and Amanda and I never got them cleaned. So we just didn't use it. So we were sweating our asses off during the summer, and then when winter time came around, we were freezing our ass off.
Oh my god!
Because it was just
sucks so
super
hard.
fucking cold in the house, and we just had to fucking deal with it. We'd be wearing like fucking coats and sweaters inside the fucking apartment, trying to fucking.
I came over once and I was like, "What the fuck y'all doing? And why is it as cold in here as it is outside? It's snowing."
And then I was like, homie, that's it.
It sucks.
This is how we live.
Oh my god, dude.
Like, it was like a very brief time period during the fucking like fall where it was okay.
Right.
And it was okay like temperature wise, but the one time it was okay temperature wise, we had a different problem.
Right.
The fucking apartment complex got bought out by a different company as soon as we moved in. That's part of the reason we were trying to do it so quickly, is because they were going to raise the rent prices. But if we got in before they switched over, we would have the original price for our contract, and they couldn't raise it until our contract was up.
Right.
They decided to remodel the outside, and I was working, like, my shifts would start 3 to 5 p.m. and my shifts would end midnight to 3 a.m.
Yeah.
And so I would stay up late and sleep in.
Yeah.
And they started at 6 a.m. every morning retiling the roof.
Right.
And it was like like I would wake up at, so like I would have just gone to bed like an hour or two ago, and then I would wake up to like
oh, dude.
on the fucking roof, and I'm just like, I want to fucking kill myself. And then when they finished that, they
moved up to the siding, right?
They moved on to the windows.
Oh.
They were replacing the windows.
Okay.
So I would wake up to someone just fucking cutting my window out and taking my window out of my fucking apartment. And I'm just like, what the fuck am I? I wake up to someone just like stealing my living room window. And I just like, there's just a big hole in my fucking wall. And I'm just like, this is great, man.
Yeah.
And then so my apartment, the living room had a vaulted ceiling with 2 skylights, and my TV was against that wall.
Right.
While they were replacing those 2 windows, the fucking dipshit of a fucking whatever that fucking trade is,
Window man.
when he was taking the window out, he broke the fucking blinds and knocked them off, and they fell and hit my fucking TV.
That's fun.
And I like saw it, and I fucking saw the fucking shit on my TV, and I was like, I swear to God, if it's fucking broken, I'm going to actually kill somebody.
Right.
Thankfully, the TV worked, and I fucking put in a complaint to the office. I was like, hey, I need my fucking blinds fixed because your fucking people broke them.
Yeah.
And it took them 2 months.
Nice.
For 2 months, I just had a skylight with no blinds and blinds on my floor.
Cool.
Because I was like, am I supposed to throw these away, or are they going to bring new ones? They're just going to remount these? What the fuck? So it was like 2 months straight of just that. And then when they put the new windows in, there was a gap where they cut the window out, the old one out. So the wall would like go up to the window, and then there would just be this huge crack in front of the window.
They were like the cheapest
but instead
window
of
guys, probably.
Instead of putting the caulking in after they finished the windows, they did the windows, and then they moved on to the repaving the parking lot. And the machine that like mixed the tar or whatever was right outside of my apartment.
Oh, cool.
So you could smell it like during the like middle of the day when it was warm out. You could smell it from inside the apartment. So we had to shut all our fucking windows.
That's not a fun smell.
And then after they finished repaving the parking lot, then they did the caulking on all the windows.
That's so weird.
Yeah.
Was it the same company doing all of it?
I don't know. I think so. Because they would only do one thing at a time, and they would move on from one thing to the next.
Right.
And I'm just like, dude, what the fuck is your fucking plan here, dude?
They didn't have one.
You're keeping me up all fucking day, and when I'm trying to fucking sleep.
Right.
You fucking knocking shit, trying to break my fucking TV. You're not putting new caulking in the windows. You fucking put your tar mixer right outside my fucking door, so I have to smell it all fucking day. And it was actually in my parking spot specifically.
Bro, that's so good.
They put it in my parking spot specifically, and I was like,
great.
You've got to be fucking kidding me right now.
Weren't there a bunch of like permanently vacant spots along the back fence across from your parking spot too, where Amanda usually parked?
Yep, that's
so
where
they could have just parked there.
Yeah, they could have just parked in like the guest spots, but no, they decided to use mine. So I mean, it wasn't that much further away, but it was just frustrating because I was like, that's.
Well, the smell probably would have been better if it wasn't there.
If it was against the fucking in the guest spots. So that was just super fucking annoying.
That's awesome.
And so we did not renew our lease.
Right. Needless to say.
Well, yeah, after the lease ended, we got the fuck out of there. But we did have a lot of fun living there.
I came over a fair amount, and I started making it a habit because I worked like 5 minutes from there. I started making it a habit to just kind of come over.
Yeah, you would
because I was living alone and super lonely, so I was like, man, I'm gonna go see Noah before I go home. I'd pull up, knock on your door, and you'd open it and be like,
what the fuck are you doing?
What are you doing
here?
What's
and you're just like, I just got off work. What's up?
Yeah.
Because I remember one time I had my younger brother and my cousin over, and we were just hanging out and vibing and all fucking, and we're all sitting down. I just got like the pizzas.
You had both your cousins over, right?
No, this time was just one of them.
Oh, okay.
No, you're right. I had both of them over. Because I'm pretty sure this was the same. I know what you're referencing, and I'll get to that in a second.
Okay. So you had your female younger cousin over.
Yes.
And your male older cousin.
And
she
then my
was
younger
like
brother.
13 or something?
Yeah, roughly 13, 14. And my cousin and my brother were both around 16.
Right.
So they're all over, and like I just got the pizzas, set them at the table, and we're getting ready to eat. And then I just hear, duk, 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 duk. And I'm like, who the fuck is that? I open it, and it's you. And you're just like, hey guys. And I'm like, come in, I guess. And then it immediately, like, I was the worst host ever. You walk in, and I pretty much just completely forgot that my cousins and brother existed, and I just started, like, hanging out with you and just talking to you.
Yeah.
We were dominating the conversation, not letting any of them talk. I was like, hey, you want some pizza? You're like, fuck yeah. I was just the shittiest host ever.
It's terrible. It's so funny, though.
Because I was immediately just like, oh, shit, this guy. What's up, man?
Yeah.
And my cousins were like, who the fuck is this guy? And
I had met him
why
like
is
once
he eating our pizza?
a long time ago. Yeah, that was funny.
Because also they didn't know you very well, so they were very timid.
Yeah.
So they weren't talking much already. And then also I wasn't like engaging with them anymore. And yeah.
That was such a shitty thing to do.
Oh, it was, well, I could have easily tried to include them in the conversation, but I was fucking,
right.
I didn't care. I was like, oh dude, my bro's here.
I'd much
What's
rather
up?
hang out with Simon. That's funny, man.
Because, and now what you were saying, because I know what story you were referencing earlier, before we had gotten the pizza and before you had come over, we were all at the table and I can't remember what, we were playing a board game or a card game or something, but
yeah.
We had always had, like, me and the older cousin and my younger brother had always had more of, like, the raunchy, inappropriate sense of humor and stuff like that. And my younger female cousin didn't always fit in because of that.
Right.
But she would sometimes try.
Mm-hmm.
But she also wouldn't know how far to go, when to stop, and timing.
Right.
So we're all sitting around the table just playing card games, stuff like that. And then we were making some inappropriate jokes, and then she decides that she wants to be funny and she wants to get everyone's attention. And she's like 13, 14 years old, so she has a really high-pitched voice, little girl voice, and she screams rape at the top of her lungs. And I was just like, I was like, dude, I'm gonna get fucking arrested.
Seriously.
So I quickly was like, stop that shit right now. And I was trying to be nice about it because I know what she was trying to do. She was trying to be like one of the guys and, be raunchy and inappropriate. And I was like, that is not a good joke. And this is not the place for it. Because also, like I said, there was like cop lights outside my window like at least once a week. So the cops are very like aware that this apartment complex was not a great place and shit went on there all the time. So I was like, homie, if someone hears you, they're gonna call the cops and they're gonna show up and fucking break my door down and they're gonna be like, hey, what are these 3 guys doing to this 13-year-old girl and why is she screaming?
Right.
And someone's going to jail.
Yeah, dude, it's... Oh.
So I was nice about it. I obviously told her, I was like, hey, I get what you're trying to do. You're trying to be funny. You're trying to be like inappropriate and be like one of the guys. But I was like, you can't.
Also fucking don't. Not like that.
I was like, yeah, you can't do that. I was like, that's not how to do that.
Not epic funny.
No,
Stop.
you need to stop. And I felt bad though because after I said that, I could tell she like felt really bad and she felt like she did something like really wrong. And
she did. It was really dumb.
Well, it was really dumb, but she was just trying to be like one of the guys. She was just doing it in a really dumb way, but she didn't know better.
Right.
She just heard us making inappropriate jokes and was like, oh, what's something inappropriate I can think of? And that was the first thing that popped in her mind. So she was like, all right, let's go.
I wonder why that was the first thing, though. That's a whole different
question. Because, I mean, when you're that young, you're not really creative with your inappropriate sense of humor.
That's true. You just like kinda, bad word loudly.
Bad word loudly? Mm-hmm. Yes. Or like bad thing loudly. And it was just like, that's not how it goes, buddy.
Nope.
Yeah, so that was...
situational awareness.
Yeah, friend. That was rough. I was like, I'm not trying to go to jail, bro.
Right, yeah. Oh, damn. I mean, there's that, but it's also like... We had some funny other moments where it was just you, me, and your younger brother, Elisha. Those were, like, big, epic funny.
Yeah, well,
because we would get absolutely sloshed. Mm-hmm. And it was pretty funny. Because it was like, well... Do you want to drink? And it was like, no. And then we would anyways.
Yeah.
And then it was mostly almost always Fireball.
Big mistake, but yes.
Yeah. And it's like, well, that sucks. That's ouch. The next morning,
that's a good way to put it. Ouch.
The next morning, it's a lot of ouch. And so,
because you worked so close, there was multiple times where you would stay the night on your work nights.
Oh, because it was easier.
Because my apartment was closer to your work, so you would come over. We would get super fucking drunk, and you would be like, and then you'd fucking pass out on my couch or on an air mattress or whatever, and then I would wake up to the sound of you leaving my apartment to go to work.
Right. Yeah.
And there was a couple of times where I woke up like before you or like at the same time as you, and you were always like, and I'm like, homie, you good? And you're like, no. And I'm like, are you good to go to work? And you're like, yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, you'd just be like, yeah, I really need to go to work. And then you'd like stumble, like you'd put on your fucking uniform and you'd like fucking like drag your feet out of my fucking apartment. And I was just like, bye, buddy.
It sucks so hard.
Because my days off were Sundays and Mondays, but you had Saturdays and Sundays. So you would
Right.
come over all the time on Sunday nights. So
Right.
I would have Monday off. And then you'd be like,
Bye.
And I'm just like, see ya. I'm going to enjoy my day off.
Yeah. Oh my god, dude, that was terrible.
But there was, because we also tried, like tobacco pipes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we were into that at the time.
Yeah, we thought that was like
Because it was
super
cheaper than
fucking
cigars.
Cool. Yeah, we thought it was super cool. So you brought those over, and we were drinking a lot, having fun.
We actually have videos of that.
Yes, we do. We have
of you attempting to pack a cigar for the first time while very intoxicated. You're like, how do I
do this? Oh, and then, dude, my favorite line I ever said when I was trying to pack the cigar and like I was trying to like get it going so I could smoke it. Elisha was like Snapchatting, and I was like putting it in my mouth, and then I yell at him and I say, "Snap this to your friends so they know that I am the coolest."
to show them I am the coolest. I think that was the line.
I was trying to like
snap this to your friends to show them I am the
coolest, because I was like, I'm drunkenly like shittily packing a fucking pipe, and then we fucking are like, well, I mean, we obviously can't smoke in here, so obviously the next logical step is to go for a walk drunk in the middle of the night.
Yes, from that cop heavy location, right?
Exactly.
So we take off down the street because your apartment complex was behind a Winco Foods.
Yes.
Like directly behind it. And so we went the other direction towards an intersection and like one gas station.
Yeah.
Mostly it was just houses in between there. So we start hauling. We're going down. And then
We didn't even, first, before that, we didn't even get like 50 feet away from my apartment complex before I vomited all over my shoes.
Oh yeah, you barfed all over your shoes. It was pizza and Fireball, and you were like, that was like a legit
why is it spicy
moment, because it was like in your nose.
Yeah.
You're like, man, this sucks. And then
Nice.
okay, yeah. So you barfed all over your shoes, and we were like, I took a video of right after you had barfed, and you can hear it like dripping out of your mouth.
Dripping out of my mouth and nose. Yeah.
And then you're like, man, I feel better, but I'm not as drunk. This sucks. And I was like, do you want to go back, man? You were like, no, it's fine. We'll keep going. So we kept going, and we get down to the end of the street near the gas station in the intersection, and you're like, man, I fucking hate this traffic light. I've wanted to run this traffic light so many times. I'm gonna do it, but as a human. And I was like, what does that even mean? And then you run out into the middle of the road, get the light to change, and then you yell at me. I'm recording this. Step on the gas. And then you make car sounds while you sprint through the intersection.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, dude, there's a car coming. You gotta hurry back. And you're like, no, I'll stand in the center of the road. They won't
in the median, because there was
median.
like one of those like rock planter areas in the middle. So I was just like, nah, dude, I'm good. I stood in the fucking median, standing like a fucking.
You can hear me like, no, dude, you gotta come across. You're like, it's fine. And the car didn't care, but it was like really dumb.
I had plenty. Well, because of what it was, I thought I didn't have time.
Oh,
Because the car sounded a lot closer. I was like, I don't have time, dude. I'll stand in the median. And then like, I'm standing there for like 2 whole minutes, and then the car just.
Yep. Just comes
And I was
by and
like-
it's like, well, neat.
And then I just like trot my ass back to the sidewalk, and I'm like, dude, that was so crazy.
Right. And then we walk back to your apartment after that. And then we arrive to discover that I have dropped my pipe.
Yes,
Which
because
I
we
was
finished
very
smoking while
happy
we were
about.
walking.
I loved the pipe, and I was very upset that I lost it. So I was
Yes.
like, man, it must have fallen out of my pocket. We gotta go find it. So we walk. I run like a mile, all the way down to the gas station. Start looking around in the weeds. I'm like, we sat next to the intersection. It must be here. Didn't find it. You are behind me trying to also run. We get to the gas station. You run up, for some reason, to one of the gas pumps.
Because you were inside at that point. You were buying a water bottle.
Oh, I didn't know I went inside. Okay,
Yeah.
So I went inside the gas station to get a water bottle. You go to like one of the gas pumps.
I was walking into the parking lot, and I was walking towards the door and stopped at one of the gas pumps. And then
Just let loose.
and vomited all over the fucking gas station parking lot right in front of one of the pumps. Because what happened was, we walk out of my apartment, we get at the parking lot, we start walking. And then we're looking for it, and we're like, oh man, I don't see it. And then you're like, I bet I dropped it at the gas station. And I was like, okay, well, let's go back. And then you're like, man, I want to be quick though. I'm trying to get back into your apartment. And I was like, it's not going to take us that long. And you're like, that's too long. And you started fucking sprinting. And I was like, no, I'm not going to sprint.
Right.
But I was drunk enough to where like my vision was blurry. And I had to focus on something. And the one thing I was focusing on would be in focus and the rest would be blurry.
Right.
And I was focusing on you, but you were getting smaller and smaller. And as you were getting smaller and smaller, my vision was getting blurrier because you were what I was focusing on.
And it was near the 4th of July. So I think a mortar firework went off. And that was when you lost sight of me. And so you were like, oh, fuck, he definitely got shot. He's dead. It's over.
Yeah, because I was also drunk, so I didn't know the difference between the two sounds.
So then you started running.
So I started sprinting after you because I was like,
he's dead.
he's
It's a
drunk
bummer.
as fuck. We're out in the middle of the night. I mean, I'm drunk as fuck and I'm not going to be able to help, but I should at least probably be with him. So I start sprinting. And while I was sprinting, I felt great.
Right, yeah.
I was like, oh, dude, I'm fine. This is great. I'm fucking sprinting my ass off. And then I get there and you're like, I found it. Because you had found it by the time I got there.
That's not true.
Really?
Nope.
I swore you did.
I did not find it. I inspected the shit out of the intersection, went into the gas station for a water bottle. You pull up, barf. And then I'm like, I didn't find it, man. It's not here. We got to walk back and watch the curb. And so we start walking back. And I think halfway back, I called it a loss. I was like, no, we won't find it. That's fine. It sucks. You know, whatever. We'll continue. And then we get less than 1 block from your apartment after all of that.
Right.
And my blurry ass vision somehow caught a hint of brown in the gutter of the street. And I bend over and it's the pipe. And I just grab it and I just keep walking because I really don't want to tell you that that's where it was. And then I'm like, no, I'll tell him. And I turn to you. I'm like, oh, I found my pipe, by the way. You were like, what the fuck? Where was it? What happened? I was like, it was right there in the gutter. And you were very upset. Understandably so.
Yeah,
and I was like, sorry,
I
dude.
had mixed it up a little bit because I thought you found it when we got over there.
Nope.
No, I remember that now. Because after that, I was like, dude, what the fuck? Yeah, and it was so because whenever we went out, whenever we drank and then actually like left the apartment to go for a walk, my younger brother would never come with us because he would always be too tired. He was like, man, fuck you guys. And he would start blowing up his air mattress. And I don't know why this is so funny to me, but one of the times when we were leaving for a walk, we stepped out, we forgot something, and then we walked back to the door and you opened it and then quickly shut it. And I'm like, what's wrong? And you went, Elijah's blowing up the air mattress, making a lot of noise. Call the police. And then I literally I'm standing on the top of the stairs and I literally just turn around and into the night just go, and I do it quietly for some reason. I just go, police. Like into the night.
We have a video of that too, which is really iconic.
I don't know why I thought that was so fucking funny. You were like, call the police, and my first instinct was like, ooh, I will call to them.
Yeah. Police. And then you turned around to me with like this frightened look on your face.
Like I was...
It was so funny, man, dude.
Oh, dude, it was fucking funny as shit. So we had a lot of nights like those. I mean, that's kind of pretty much it, though, in my first apartment. Oh, actually.
Uno mas?
Just one more kind of funny story. When I moved out of my first apartment, I kind of had I had a situation where I couldn't pay my last month's rent.
Oh.
I couldn't pay it in full.
Right.
But for some reason, the landlord was actually really willing to work with me.
Oh.
I went up to him and I was like, hey, my lease ends like halfway through this month, and I know my rent is due tomorrow, but I'm short like $200. And my landlord straight up just went like, okay, just give me what you have now, and what you don't have, just get to me when you can. And she was like super nice and super willing to work
That's
with
nice.
me. And I didn't end up paying the rest of it until like the day before I moved out. And they didn't give me a late fee or anything.
Oh, that's kind. Nice.
And it was also funny though, because I sent Amanda with the last bit of it. And I was like, hey, go do this. And she was like, okay. And she did it. And then we moved out. And then when we got our security deposit back, also included was the amount of the second cashier's check we gave for rent.
Oh.
Because for some reason they must have messed it up in their books or something.
Right.
But they were like, no, you paid your rent. And Amanda was like, no, we only paid a partial amount because we didn't have the money to cover it. And they were like, no, you paid it on the first. You're good. And they just gave us that money back, and we were like,
Well, that's nice.
okay, I'll fucking take it.
Thanks.
So
Great.
it was like as weird as that was, I was actually like a really nice, like the one nice thing that happened
one good
dealing with the
experience.
fucking people.
Yeah. That's good. I think we should talk a little on during that same time when I was in my first apartment, which was, how much was yours a month? It was like,
It was $740
was it 740
for a 2-bedroom, 1-bath.
Right. Mine was in a better part of a nicer city, a little bit better part, not much. But there weren't cops constantly showing up and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It was $650 for a 1-bed, 1-bath. In like with no upstairs neighbors, which was nice. It was just a 1-story apartment complex, and it was just kind of a strip. And so that was cool because like when I first moved in, they replaced the carpet, which was nice, and it had a wall AC, but the apartment was small enough to where it would actually reach the bedroom, which was nice. And the heating, I believe, was central. If I recall correctly, I didn't have baseboard heat.
I did not see any baseboard heating.
Yeah,
in
I'm
that
pretty
apartment.
sure the heating was central, which was pretty sweet. It felt nice in there in the winter. So we had that going on, and it was like...
You also had a pretty dope light setup. You had like string lights throughout the entire like living room and shit, and it was really nice.
I tried hard to make it cooler than just I hate overhead lights. Like I really hate them. Every house I've ever lived in, I've done everything I can to use string lights or whatever to not use overheads, because that color just makes a room feel shitty to me. I don't know, maybe I'm weird, but like I have corner lights in here and then like colorful LEDs and string lights and shit. It's how I roll. I don't know, but yeah, it was nicer. It looked nicer when it was dark than it did when it was light.
That is definitely true. Yeah.
But that place kind of slapped for a single dude.
Oh yeah.
Like it was fucking great. And the parking was outside the door because they were just strips of apartments, singular apartments. All you had was 2 next door neighbors, and then the alley where you park, and then the front door, which opened to like this grassy area that nobody went into.
Yeah. Except for the one guy who liked to throw knives at that stump.
He was my neighbor. Pretty sure they cooked meth. Straight up. Like, they were fucking weird. One time he asked you for a ride when you were leaving.
Yeah, I remember I was leaving and he was like, hey man, where are you going? And I was like, I gotta go to work. And he was like, oh yeah, that's crazy, man.
He didn't work.
I need to, where are you headed? And I was like, oh, I'm going to insert city here, because I lived one city over from you. And he was like, oh yeah, I really need to get there, but I don't know how I'm gonna do that because I don't have like bus fare or anything. And I was like, that's crazy, dude. All right, bye. And he was like, can I get a ride from you? And I was like, sorry, man, I really got to get to work. I'm going straight to work.
No, he was weird. And his wife, I'm pretty sure, brought in the money for the family, and he just kind of fucked around, attempted to fix their shitty Jeep Liberty. Like, that was it, man.
It was kind of like when a kid is trying to like guilt you into giving, like when you're like eating a slice of pizza and a kid sees it and goes, oh, I really like pizza.
Yep.
Pizza's my favorite.
Yep.
It was almost exactly like that, but he was trying to get me to give him a ride.
It was pretty close to the river.
Yeah, so we would go walking along the river.
We would go walk along the river, which was great.
And anytime we heard anybody else there, we would shit our fucking pants and like get super scared for no reason.
Did we?
Yes. Every single time we would like, well, I would freak out.
Oh.
And then you would be like, no, we're good. And I'm like, what if it's a stabby, man?
Oh, no, I don't recall me being freaked out.
No, you would never get freaked. I would get freaked out. Because it was dark, so you couldn't see more than like 10, 15 feet in front of you. So
there were no street lights.
We would like hear movement or hear talking or whatever. And I'd be like, oh my God, dude, we're going to die. And you'd be like, man, we're out here. They're probably just out here too, just chilling. And I was like, nah, dude, this is a fucking horror movie.
That was pretty funny. There was that, but like we would walk miles because we would do like a brisk ass walk each time.
Well, because also you're tall, a lot. You're a lot taller than I am,
right?
And then you also walk fast. So I was pretty much speed walking the entire time.
Yeah.
And we would walk like 2 to 3 miles out and then 2 to 3 miles back. So we were walking like 4 to 6 miles once a weekend.
Yeah, it was good for us.
It really was.
Because usually when we got back, we would be tired, but not nearly as drunk because we'd either sweated out or had just worked it off. Mm-hmm. And so we'd come home and we really wouldn't be hungover, which was nice.
We would just fucking crash.
Mm-hmm. But there were some nights where we stayed in. Those were the funny nights when we would like vape out of muffins. You remember that?
Yes, I still
You had one of like
that.
the OG disposable.
It was like a pencil, like with the glowing blue tip, so it like felt like a cigarette and shit like that. And I don't know why I thought it was so funny. I was like slumped over on your couch, like fucking as lazy as I possibly could, and I fucking stuck it into the muffin and laid the muffin on my chest and like the mouth over the fucking tip and I recorded that video, and I still have it on my computer.
It was pretty iconic.
Yeah, because I did it to there was a song playing on your fucking TV, and I was inhaling, and then as soon as the beat dropped, I just started slowly exhaling, and for some reason I thought that was the funniest shit ever.
It still is. I think simply because you had like the most unkempt, disgusting gamer accidental neckbeard of all time.
I hadn't
so
shaved.
You really looked homeless when you did it, and that I think completed the humor of it.
Oh yeah, it was bad, dude. Because like also I was wearing my hat backwards.
Yeah.
And I had like 2 strands of hair sticking out from it, and then also I just had like this terribly barely grown unkept like a little, not like right now it's not that bad, but it was like a lot worse than where it's at now.
Yeah.
Because like I need to shave right now, but it was so much worse than this.
Yeah, it was really bad. But I think so that's just a funny memory.
I want some cup of noodles.
That was another good one. We cup of noodles was just pretty much all I had to eat because I was very broke. And I just loved
that
it.
And bagel bites.
Bagel bites, yeah. I loved pizza pockets. Like the little ones.
Oh, pizza rolls.
Yeah. I love pizza rolls, bagel bites, and cup of noodles.
Yep.
I would buy a ton of cup of noodles. Super cheap, tasted great. I had a great metabolism at the time, so it was fine, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, here's this, here's some cup of noodles, man. Whenever you came over, I'd just give you cup of noodles.
Every time I was like,
and it was the perfect munchie.
Cup of noodles.
Yeah, like it was a perfect munchie for whenever we got drunk. And so it became kind of a staple.
Yeah.
And so there's one time where you are laying belly down, face down on the kitchen floor, and you're scooting past like this bowl of cat food, and you're shimmying like a worm. Like the only thing coming up between each movement is your ass.
Yeah, like a little caterpillar, like an inchworm.
Yeah, you're inching along, and then I'm recording you, and I'm like, Noah, what's wrong? And you look at me with your head on the ground, and you're like, I want some cup of noodles. And then you just kept inching along, like down to the bathroom to go barf or something. And I was like, that's funny.
Didn't one of us dive into your bag of cat food?
Yes.
Like kind of they were like stumbling around the kitchen and just like dived head first into, I can't remember which one of us that was. I thought it was me.
I don't know who it was. It was
because I thought it was
you.
That same night.
I think it probably was you. You came back from the bathroom and then you got this burst of energy. I think you got your cup of noodles and then you were just super happy while it was heating up, and you like fucking trip or something and just fall face first into this bag of cat food and just this crash and crinkle, and I'm just dying, dude. I'm laughing so fucking hard. That was good. And then the other one was when I recreated the cup of
That's
noodles.
the video I have. I haven't seen the video of me doing it. I have a video of you mimicking me doing it.
Yes.
Because you don't inch along. You sit there and you just start humping the floor. And then as you hump the floor, you just go, I want some cup of noodles.
Yeah.
As you just hump the floor.
And then I get up and I like scoot across the floor on
You
my toes,
flipped
but
over.
crouched.
Yeah.
No. I get up from inching along. I spin around to cross the kitchen again into the other corner. I scoot on my toes. but in a full crouch. And I like do a surfer stance and I scoot across and then I flip over and try and do like the ring. Or
Yeah, you planted...
not the ring. It's like the typical horror demon thing where they bend over backwards and walk on their hands and hands and feet, but like upside down with their head hanging between their arms. I tried to do that, so I flip over and then I try and make a scary sound, but it really doesn't.
You just screech.
No, I just go, and then I collapse and just start dying laughing.
Yep.
That one is pretty classic.
That's
if I can
video
find it,
I
I'll
have.
put it in the podcast.
I
here.
know I can find it. I have that video.
Yeah, and so that one's pretty awesome. And then, let's see, there was something else. I mean, there was the amount of times we got drunk and then we would watch like beatboxing world
With the
world
beatboxing
championships
tournaments and shit like that.
Mhm.
We
like picked our favorite beatboxers and we would actually root for them and shit, even though the videos were like 2 years old.
Yeah, well, because we didn't know what happened.
That's
It was new
true.
to
Yeah.
us.
Mm-hmm.
And then also because like that time I vaped out of the muffin.
Right.
We didn't end up eating the muffins.
Not that one.
We
ate the rest of them.
We had two.
Oh, did we have
Because
two?
we didn't eat
okay.
two of them, and we left them in the fridge, and you didn't eat them the next couple of days, and next time I came over they were still in your fridge and they were rock hard.
Yeah.
And you thought it was so funny, and you grabbed one and you ran outside and you chucked it, and then you're like, wait, let's record this.
Mm-hmm.
So then you run back and grab the other one, and it's the shittiest recording ever. And you're just, like,
I got this muffin, and then I crack my teeth against
you
it to
just
show how
slap
hard it is.
against your face.
It sounds like me like hitting a rock with my teeth, like
Yeah.
And I'm like, watch this. I walk outside, and just huck it down the street, and then act like I'm gonna get caught or in trouble, even though it's the middle of night.
Yeah, you fucking like straight up baseball pitcher stance and hucked that thing all the way down the fucking like alleyway of your apartment, and then both like little schoolgirls were like, like giggling and running back inside to your apartment.
So dumb, dude. And I think what completes that picture is that I'm completely shirtless.
Yeah, you don't have a shirt on. You're just wearing like your fucking pajama bottoms, and you're just like.
That was so funny, man. So we did that, and it was super iconic in a way. And then there's one more story that I can recall where we went out for a walk around Christmas time. It was not snowing, but it was very cold.
Mm-hmm.
Went out for a walk, and the park next to there's like this stage in the middle of this park next to my...
I know what you're going to say.
Next to my apartment. And so we walked down there, and they have like a bunch of mini houses built where like during the day a Santa takes photos with people and stuff. It's a really cool like mini scene, all lit up at night. String lights across the whole park around all the trees. Looks beautiful. And I'm like, man, let's go up on stage, on this huge concrete stage. Mm-hmm. And you're just like, man, fuck it. Okay, we go up there, and they have a metal like police barrier barring you from getting in. And I'm like, man, I can hop this. I'm tall. I hop over it, super drunk. Fuck it up somehow, don't make contact with the ground, and fall all the way, land on my head.
Yeah.
Like, boom.
Well, because you didn't hop over it. You slid over it like you were fucking goo. Because you straight up like laid on it and like rolled over. And then you were like reaching for the ground with your foot, and you didn't connect, but your body was still going over. And then the weight of your body, you couldn't hold on anymore, and you just... Whoo, and fucking just... I remember hearing it, dude. Yeah. I was like, holy
It was
fuck,
bad.
do you have a concussion? Because
was
it was
bad.
like straight up skin on concrete. Just
Yeah.
Pow.
And so I get up and I'm like, I'm good. I can't feel it. And you're like, but you're really drunk. I was like, I still can't feel it. So maybe
it's
tomorrow.
okay.
Let's go. That was funny. I don't think I ever did feel it, to be completely honest.
Yeah.
I think I woke up the next morning and my body had like superhuman regenerated those
You
cells
just did
or
a
something.
fucking hard reset.
I don't know, man. Took a screenshot on that bitch, dude.
Fucking screenshot.
That was funny, man.
Oh.
Do you have any more distinct memories from that other than like the one where we just counted our shots and barfed a bunch?
One more. It was when we were walking along the river again. It's another one I have a video of. We're walking down the river and we heard something really close, and this time we both freaked out and like almost shit our pants. And we were like waiting for it because it was getting louder and closer. It was
windy.
It was really windy.
Yeah.
And this like thing was like getting louder and closer, and then it rolls by us and it's just a tumbleweed.
Right.
This tumbleweed rolls across the sidewalk and goes into the river, and we're just like, oh, what the fuck? And then you pull out your fucking knife and you're like, pull out your phone, record me. I'm gonna fucking get revenge. And I was like, what? Okay. So I start recording you, and you have your like phone flashlight on your face because it's so dark. And I'm like, oh, I'm recording you, and you just go, that fucking Tommy scar shell. So I'm gonna go stab it. You run to the river, standing right in the water, and you just start like, you just hear it like the tumbleweed rustling, and you're going, ah, 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 and you go, ow, and I run over. I'm like, are you okay? And he goes, no, he got me. And I'm like, are you bleeding? He goes, no, you a little bit, but I can't feel it. I'm too drunk. And then, oh, sorry, no, that's not when you said too drunk. You're like, it's okay, I can't feel it. And then you were trying to put your knife away. Oh. And that's when you said that. You went, homie, I can't retract my knife. I'm too drunk. And I was just like, dude, what are you doing? And then we hear running on the docks.
Close to us.
And it was also cold out, so the docks were a little slippery. Yeah. And I go like, bro, there's people running on the docks. Those homies trying to die. Yeah. And
because if you slide into the river when it's that cold, there's a high chance when you get out and it's windy, you can't get to your car or house quick enough. You will receive some health points of damage.
Because I was like, dude, I hear voices. And you're like, no, you don't. It's fine. And I'm like, no, dude, I hear voices. And then I heard like the doo 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 doo. I'm like, dude, homie's running on the dock, man. Homie's trying to die. Yeah. And you were just like, oh, that's crazy.
That was good, man.
The funniest part of that video is when you're trying to fucking retract your knife. Homie, I can't retract my knife. I'm too drunk.
I watched it the other day and I was like saying to myself, because it had a safety on it, because it was some form of like legal loophole switchblade, and it had like a safety on it, and I was looking at it, I was like, red is dead but red is on, so that's probably why it won't go back in. So I flipped that down and I'm like, no, that locked it, that didn't work, and like 10 seconds after that you finally hear it retract. I'm like, oh, I got it. But you had moved on at that point.
Yeah,
I was concerned about the people on the dock.
Yeah, dude, I was just worried about the people on the dock. I thought they were gonna die.
That was so good, dude. We were just fucking Bing chilling.
Oh, Bing chilling.
That was funny. Oh, man. I think that's pretty much all of the memories we have. I have the video in the memory of like when we first moved you into your apartment, and we were like, man, there's so much space in this living room. I could do a somersault. And so I did, but I like pulled my groin.
Yes, I
in
remember,
the video. You could hear like my groin fucking pop when I did the somersault. Yeah. And it's in slow motion, like iPhone slow motion.
Yeah, because you had just got a new iPhone and you were like, dude, check this out.
Yeah. And so I do this somersault and I end it very poorly, and you just hear this like in slow motion, and then I'm like,
and you like start like hopping and shit because you're in pain. It's so fucking funny. Funny thing about that, when I moved in, I had just collected because I didn't want to organize anything because I was so tired. So literally when we moved in, we just had a pile of all of our stuff in the living room. Yeah. And I just went to work one day, and Amanda had the day off. I came home and everything was organized.
Dude, she was on some shit.
She was on that shit, dude. I came home from work and everything was in its place. Wow. All the furniture was arranged and everything, and I was like, homie, how long did this take you? And she was like, I finished like 10 minutes ago.
Oh my god, dude, what a champion.
I was like, hey, I didn't want to fucking do it, so A+.
Let's go. That's funny.
That is.
Well, I think that brings that set of stories to a close. Thank you guys for watching.
Thank you for listening.
Yeah. And don't forget to watch the Grid Engine channel.
We work on cars.
Yeah, we work on cars, and there's some older videos on there of us just fucking around. Those are pretty good. But yeah, thanks for watching, listening. Message us on Instagram if you want to. We love to talk. Leave a comment. We respond to all our comments. And yeah, here we go. Ready? Outro music.